The theme of the day, say what you mean, but I hope it's the other end.
Oh my God.
Thanks. We enjoyed a lot the topic. Thank you. And that we will move to the third speech of the day. It will be delivered by our own President John Zenger. This is the level 2, understanding your communication style in the pathway innovative planning. The speech title, To Lead or Not to Lead.
Well, Toastmasters and guests, it's great to be here with you today. And obviously, I needed to talk to Brandy and change the order of the speeches. I should have led this one out. And all got out laughing and enjoyed the rest of the day, right? This speech is really centered on leadership itself. And during the course of preparing for this speech, I was to take this little assessment which pinpointed some of my supposed leadership skills, and then to talk on one of these skills. And so it came up with 3 skills in particular, one of which was coaching, which it said the definition for coaching was helping individuals prepare for the future by building skills. Like, okay, I can talk about that potentially. And I was thinking about experiences, and I thought, okay, well, I'll talk a little bit about scouting. Have any of you been Boy Scouts before? Okay, or do any of you have Boy Scouts in your family? Okay, a few of you. A few years ago, well, a number of years ago, I was asked by my church, my local congregation, to be the scoutmaster of their troop. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, I have 2 qualifications. 1, I'm a guy that loves the outdoor, and 2, I got my Eagle Scout. That's all I have. Do they not know that I have 4 daughters? I haven't been involved with this scouting program since I was 18. What are they thinking? And I was like, okay, this is a church group, so hopefully, and I have to read these. I had them memorized, but I no longer do. But hopefully, they are embracing some of the Scout law attributes: being trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, thrifty, brave, and reverent, right? These are all little church boys. So there should be no problem, right? So I accept the opportunity to be Scoutmaster for the church, and we start on our little journey as Scouts and leaders. And for those of you that have been in Scouting or have children in Scouting, in summer, there's this little ritual called Scout Camp, where the Scouts are sent off to some little location for a week, where they participate in scouting games, supposedly earn merit badges to further their ranks and learn skills and have fun. So I got us all signed up for a little local Scout Camp, packed all the boys up, we went out to this little Scout Camp, and when it finished, this was my assessment. 1, they only came home with like 2 or 3 merit badges that were finished, and they had like 12 that were partials, they still need to do all this stuff. And I'm like, what is up with that? Secondly, I don't know what happened to my little Christian boys, because they all became little demons. And my troop was constantly getting marched up in front of every other troop like, do not be like Troop 815. Because they're out of control. They actually even had to move us at one point because some of my boys offended one of the other little troop with some of their little shenanigans. It's like, what is wrong with these boys? Thirdly, they didn't really enjoy the experience that much. They were all just walking around like little Neanderthals with their knuckles dragging on the ground and no smiles on their face. And so I'm like, what are we doing here? And then lastly, the little Scout camps, generally speaking, were relatively expensive for some of the boys whose parents had somewhat meager incomes, generally speaking. And so I was thinking, are we really getting the best bang for our buck out of this little situation? So I said, okay, next year, we're going to do this a little different. If I'm going to spend a week of my vacation time with these little maniacs, I'm going to take them on my own Scout camp. We're not paying for these folks to go through this little ordeal that we went through this last year. So I thought, again, if I'm taking my time, I'm going to take them somewhere that I would like to go. So our first scout camp was to the Outer Banks. And I found this great little campground called the Oregon Inlet, right there up at the base of the Outer Banks. And I booked a week out there. And I put together all these I looked at all my boys to see where they were as far as their ranks, what merit badges they had, and I put together these packets that would maximize the amount of merit badges they got. And every boy had pre-work. I was like, you have to finish your packets before you come to scout camp. We also signed up for, or we got engaged with Belk and did their little charity day fundraiser, so we earned a lot of money just by that 2-day little events with Belk that we took into, and scout camp became much more affordable for these boys as opposed to paying like I think about $275 or $300 per kid. We broke it down to each kid having to only come up with $100. So the expense was dramatically more affordable for some of the boys that didn't quite have the means of some of the other kids. And then I arranged all of our activities. We kayaked on the Alligator River. And right after seeing our first alligator, one of my boys stands up in the kayak and of course falls in the river. What are you thinking? There's an alligator right there. If you go in the river, he's going to be more apt to get you. At that point, of course, I wasn't talking to them with as much tact as I probably should. We visited Kitty Hawk. I'd never been to Kitty Hawk before, and these sand dunes out there. We chartered a fishing boat and caught our own fish so we could make fish tacos. What could be better than that? Fish tacos at scout camp, right? It was so much better than whatever they started us at the other scout camp. I was like, oh my goodness, that is terrible. And then I finally, of course, took them to the Shark Tooth Museum in Aurora, North Carolina, which if you haven't been there, you have to go there. In fact, I went camping with one of my little scouts 2 weekends ago on this little polar bear camp out we did. And he was like, I was at college the other day, and my professor was talking about geological things in Aurora, North Carolina. And I had to raise my hand and said, I've been there before. As a scout! So I'm like, yes, you have! The end result was each of my boys on average came home with 10 or more completed merit badges. Wow. No partials. Wow. My boys learned skills. At every single thing we did, we incorporated specific skills that we wanted them to focus on and learn. We had a great time, just like Joshua last weekend told me about this. I loved it, they loved it, and they still speak about it today. And more surprisingly than not, one of the rangers there at the Oregon Inlet came up to me, he's like, this is the best behaved scout troop I have ever seen. I was like, fortunately you haven't seen them very much. Because there's no one else out here, that's why they're so well behaved. They can't kill anyone else. But one of the greatest things that I had, or one of the greatest experiences that I had as a scoutmaster, was hopefully helping some of these boys learn the potential that they have within inside of them. And hopefully help them gain some skills that will help them go from boys to men.
Yeah, with that, we completed all of those features today. So we have some time for favorite topics. So I'd like to